Macalister and Van Dijk defending.
I think it's like
people deluded. I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. Come on. With an introduction like that, what more can I say excluding people deluded? I'm back again. As usual, appreciative of all my continued supporters. Appreciate you if you're tuned in for the first time. Make sure you're smashing the like button, you're commenting, you're subscribing, you're checking out the playlist, and you've got your notification bells on. I hope everyone's had a blessed week. I hope the weekend's been great so far for you lot. Hopefully Arsenal claim 3 points. With that being said, we don't need to do any more chatting. As you can probably tell by my eyes, I'm actually making sure everything is sorted out so I can share my screen with you lot and we can immediately get into this stuff, people. First things first, before we get into transfer news, Mikel Arteta confirms 3 Arsenal stars will miss Fulham clash to leave Mikel Arteta with dilemma up front. Injuries are part and parcel of the game. They're not exclusive to us. Nonetheless, the gaffer has said, and better yet confirmed, Arsenal will be without Gabriel Jesus, Eddie Nketiah and Leandro Trossard for Sunday's clash with Fulham. On the topic of that, we kick off at 2 p.m. UK time. I'll be live across Twitch and YouTube with you lot, people, to watch the game in an hour before kickoff. So make sure you hit the like button on that. You've set your reminders on that. You've turned on your notification bells as discussed. Now, we know Gabriel Jesus is a long-term absentee, so it's not going to be anything in that regards in relation to him. We know Nketiah in recent weeks, along with Leandro Trossard, have picked up knocks, really. So it leaves us short up front. You know, you've got Reece Nelson's emergence or re-emergence this season. You've obviously got Martinelli, who had a tough time up front against Sporting Lisbon. So, you know, Arteta always talks about Smith Rowe's capabilities in that regards. We're just going to have to get on with it, really. We've been sharing the goals around. Our goal scorers haven't necessarily been our strikers, excluding Martinelli. He's one of our top goal scorers in the Prem. Shout out to Eddie Nketiah's, you know, contribution and how he deputized for Gabriel Jesus. Big up Leandro Trossard for making an impact since January. And obviously Jesus is a bit of a forgotten man. We ain't seen him this year, but we're going to have to get on with it and try and defend our 5-point lead at the top of the Premier League table tomorrow in the right way. Hopefully Patrick Vieira, who apparently there's pressure on his job, could do us a favor later today. Hopefully tomorrow we do our job. I don't check the league table though. With 2 central forwards and a makeshift option, Trossard still unavailable. Arteta is confident there are solutions with his attacking options. Eddie is out, so we'll have Gabby out, Eddie out, and Leao is out. So we'll have to adapt in this period of the season. We have different options. We can play with a winger more as a 9. We can play with a false 9. Let's see. We need different options. Even if everyone's fit, we need the capacity to be able to do that regardless. When you look at some other players, obviously we've spoken about Jesus, Trossard, and Nketiah. Allegedly, Trossard was, Martin Odegaard was ill. He missed the Sporting Lisbon game. He should be back, as Charles Watts of Goal.com has said, for the Fulham game, people. Kieran Tierney the same. It appears that there's a bit of a stomach bug going around. We know El Nene is a long-term absentee, so he is a myth, people, in that regard. So we're going to have to just get on with it. Shout out Zinchenko. He's been voted February's player of the month, you know, for a second straight month. What an impact he has made and transformed our club. You know, Jesus has a claim to be signing of the season. I'd say in the last couple of weeks, months, whatever, games, Zinchenko's probably taken that where Arsenal are concerned, people. Allegedly with Jesus, you know, we made a late decision not to allow him to travel to Portugal midweek, and we allowed him to stay in London on Thursday, people. So the sooner we can get Jesus back, the better, people. There are some rumours he might be involved at the weekend, people. But again, Arteta has kind of quashed that, really. We want him back when he's back. If we look at now the signings, people, allegedly, Bundesliga aces agent, Arsenal in talks with 11-goal Bundesliga aces agent as Dortmund alternative considered, Christian Thought. Bayern Leverkusen should perhaps be prepared to brace themselves for a flurry of player exits should interest persist in a number of their star players. Don't think Hudson-Odoi's got anything to worry about. Florian Wirtz has come back from injury and done quite well. I've today, which was yesterday, been in Leverkusen to meet Rudi Völler and Florian Wirtz, who is a target of many clubs in Europe, but has decided to stay in Leverkusen minimum till 2024 for the European Championship. So he's a next summer target for somebody. When I entered the lift in Leverkusen's club centre, Simon Roos, Leverkusen's sporting director, was already in. He told me that he saw the many rumours about Premier League interest in 6 of his several of which I wrote about in my last column. He joked that he now has a lot of work to do because of that. One player in that column was Moussa Diaby. Arsenal still have an interest in Diaby. The Bayern Leverkusen stars agents are in contact with the club. However, it is worth noting the Gunners are also interested in Dortmund's Julian Brandt. The club has yet to make a final decision on that front, people. So we'll have to see. In relation to Julian Brandt, think he's a good player. I think he's a bit soft, though. We've also been linked with Dayhoot, who's going to be a free agent, also currently in Germany with Bayern Leverkusen. Allegedly, a journalist has said Arsenal player wants a significant pay rise to stay at the Emirates. Couldn't begrudge Saliba for wanting that. He's 21. He's a key player. He's probably seen what Saka and Martinelli have got. He's broken into the French team. If you want to commit him to a 4 or 5 year deal, you have to give him money that makes it worth it. And you'd imagine all the players that Arsenal have signed recently and have signed new deals, if they keep developing within that time scale of them signing new deals, people, they'll probably even be in line for more. Saliba wants a significant increase in salary to sign a new contract at the Emirates. Let's see specifically what was said. Ben Jacobs of Give Me Sport has said Arsenal's instant priority was to fend off interest during a period when Saliba was still unsettled and then give him a chance. Now we'll see talks ramp up because it's clear Arsenal view Saliba as integral. Now it's a case of terms being agreed. Saliba will want a significant pay rise while Arsenal are hoping for a slightly longer deal than all parties first anticipated. Talks continue, but Arsenal are calm about the situation. The full expectation remains Saliba will extend. Hopefully he's able to do that, and he'll probably double the 40 grand a week he's on. Must be nice, isn't it, really and truly? So yeah, big up Saliba for that. We've also been linked with Milinkovic-Savic. A lot of people are probably bored of this, but Arsenal, Newcastle, West Ham target Milinkovic-Savic tells Lazio he doesn't want a free transfer, contracted until 2024, so he probably wants to leave this summer. His agent Kezman has told Claudio Lotito, who's a top-ranking official at Lazio, that Milinkovic-Savic does not want to leave Lazio in any free transfer. The midfielder is a target of Arsenal, Newcastle and West Ham. According to Calcio Mercato, where you have to judge the credibility for yourself, it's reported there's an increased expectancy of Milinkovic-Savic leaving Lazio come this summer. The 28-year-old is keen to take on a new challenge after 8 years in Rome. He'll also enter the final year of his contract in July. Milinkovic-Savic's yearning for a fresh adventure has seen Lazio struggle to forge firm talks about a potential new contract. The president last tried to start talks with Kezman in January, during which the agent reiterated the Serbian's view on a free transfer. Kezman reassured Lotito that Milinkovic-Savic does not want to see Lazio miss out on a fee for him next year, better yet. Apparently, they're demanding 45 million euros, which equates to about 45 million pounds for any move. Juventus are also keeping tabs on him in case their outgoing transfers raise enough funds. Lazio's asking price is unlikely to be a stumbling block for Arsenal, Newcastle or West Ham, as they all target Milinkovic-Savic's transfer. So yeah, and apparently these Premier League rivals have assured his agent they're prepared to spend 35 million quid, 40 million euros. Milinkovic-Savic also wants to sign for Arsenal, as this reporter said, despite waving off Mikel Arteta's advances last year. The Sun claims the Serbian is West Ham's top target to replace Declan Rice, who's also linked with us, with the England international tip to leave the London stadium. So we'll have to see exactly how this develops, people. But as I always say, smash the like button. The dream is free. The hustle is sold separately. In relation to Reece Nelson potentially signing a new deal, this article Collins allegedly said about Nelson. Yeah, so this is a player who is in the last 6 months of his contract. Obviously, the talks have been going on before the game at the weekend, but it's now a big story. He's the man of the moment. I think there's a sense from both sides that something will get done. Nelson, who I interviewed back in November, was pretty clear that he wants to try and stay at the club. He wants to fight for his place. He loves Arsenal. He's an Arsenal fan. He's an academy lad. Back then, apparently, he said getting a new deal would be amazing, and I would love to commit to the club. And any other articles he's spoken about, Nelson hasn't hid that desire. We'll save that for later. Arsenal deemed best transfer for Declan Rice by West Ham stars camp over Manchester United. That's according to Dean Jones. Specifically, what has he said? There is no specifics here, people, apart from actually that, really. So it doesn't actually go into specifics. I don't know why. I mean, as much as I feel Arsenal are ahead of their project than Man United, you've seen firsthand what Arteta is doing. You shouldn't discount Ten Hag and the lure of Manchester United, and not just them, every other top 6 rival that has been linked with him. So we'll have to see exactly how that develops, people. Apparently, Balogun's over there in France doing what he needs to do, and AC Milan have revived their interest in the Arsenal star as they look to secure a long-term replacement for Olivier Giroud. And Arsenal have a decision to make. Do you extend this deal and loan him back out? Do you sell him permanently or do you reintegrate him? I don't think a decision's probably been made, but I think Arteta, along with the loan report men and whatnot, will see his level and how he can contribute this season, etc. Contracted until 2025, it's 2023. So within the next 12 to 18 months, we're going to have to tie down the 21-year-old who is currently the third highest goal scorer in Liga with 15 goals in 25 league. So good there to say it twice. Outings, people. He's currently 2 goals behind Mbappe. That's probably changed now because Jonathan David, did he not bag yesterday night for Leo as well? So, yeah, man, it's nice to see that our players are wanted. He would be battling the likes of Jesus and Nketiah indirectly. Mikel Arteta might bring in another striker. He might deploy a false 9, which I think one day we will. You've obviously got Trossard and Martinelli who can put in a shift there. But I think with the injuries you're seeing currently and at this time of the year, you can never have too many players. So it's all up to Balogun. What I would say is once you're exposed to first team football, it's probably very difficult to go back to sitting on the bench and things, even though there is adjusted expectations. Speaking of Leo, people, Carlos Belimba, I don't know about him too much, but when I've looked at Leo and things, he seems like a very good technical player. So it doesn't surprise me that Arsenal, Liverpool, Man United and more are keeping tabs on the young 19-year-old people. Arsenal, Liverpool, Man United and Newcastle United are among the sides to have scouted exciting Leo teenager Carlos Belimba. The 19-year-old has burst onto the scene in Liga this season, quickly becoming one of the division's most in-demand young players. He only arrived last year, people, in January, so he's doing what he needs to do. Currently, he has 14 league and cup appearances for his side, so it's just starting, but it's a gold mine, isn't it? So they're going to be looking at things. Carrying on with the theme of 2 stars, people, I think we've actually already seen this. However, it will not be simple for Arsenal to complete this double Bundesliga swoop. Diaby is highly rated by Leverkusen, and they have previously put his price tag at an eye-watering 70 million. He's been linked with going back to Paris Saint-Germain and helping rebuild as well. Arsenal, man, very unlikely to play for the club again, as Mikel Arteta is tipped to cash in and make a tidy profit in relation to Tavares and the 8 million we spent. Make it happen. Ben Jacobs has said with Tavares, I think it's very unlikely he'll play for Arsenal again. That's just a positional kind of thing. Zinchenko, Tini at the moment is still there. Tomiyasu is there as well. And the thing with Tavares is that Arsenal can probably, if not definitely, get a profit off him because he's only 23 years of age. And the fee that Arsenal paid in 2021 for Tavares was only 8 million. That means that if they do choose to do so, they'll be able to cash in and make a tidy profit, which will reflect well on their books on financial fair play and provide an opportunity to clear some squad space in order to no doubt bolster in other positions. He then said, when I look at Tavares, I don't really see him as an Arsenal left back. What's interesting about the Marseille spell at the moment where he's on loan is that he's scoring goals. Arsenal's concern, in my view, is around those defensive qualities, whereas what he's showing at Marseille is that he can be very enterprising from an attacking point of view. And they've also criticized his defending. And if you check out my loan reports, make sure you're checking that out, people, and all the other videos that are floating while we're speaking here. Marseille understand what he can bring from an attacking point of view, but they themselves are worried about the defensive output. It doesn't matter if he plays out wide or at left back or at left wing. You need to be able to defend. So my feeling is that Tavares will go, but it's not guaranteed that Marseille will come in and want to try and make that a signing, a permanent one, even though he's basically got a goal in every 3 or 4 games that he's played. So yeah, go and show your qualities elsewhere, Tavares. On Declan Rice, people, allegedly, people, suitors have always felt, regardless of what West Ham may be putting out there, that they can get Rice for at the lowest end 70 million and perhaps more realistically 75 to 80 million, which would be excellent value based on the current market. If a deal can be done at that number, then both Arsenal and Chelsea and other suitors will believe that they've got themselves a really strong deal. So Rice is going to be in demand, and Arsenal are going to be one of the clubs right at the front of the queue, trying very hard and aggressively to get him. Again, we've got players out on loan, people. One player that actually is doing all right, Austin Trusty at Birmingham. Apparently, their gaffer would love to keep him at the squad next season, people, and he's labelled him a top professional. That really did show his commitment as a lone player, 100%. What a fantastic pro, a fantastic player. He's been a great servant for us this season. As I said last week on Friday, he turned up and said, I'm ready to play. A fantastic attitude, and his performance was brilliant as well. We are very fortunate to have good professionals here at the football club, and Austin is certainly one of them. He's very robust. He's an athlete. He's very fit, a top professional. He's come over from the States, and he's just living football. He's got no distractions. He goes home, watches football, comes back, plays football, eats the right stuff. He's a true professional, and I think coming back in in the team last week. What a difference he made. Obviously, with Kyria and Gabriel, they're probably in front of him. I would love to keep him. I'm sure there's a chance, definitely, but it's out of my control. All I can say is I would love to keep him at the football club. I think all the fans would love to see him stay at the football club as well. When we want to build around those kind of characters, we want here, so he would be top of my list. So shout out to him, and that just shows, you know, we're picking better loan options, people. Manchester United are to push Arsenal for the Declan Rice signing, people. Apparently, Dean Jones has said United are serious contenders and may pose the biggest threat to Arsenal when it comes to battling for Rice this summer, people. The Gunners are the midfielders' top choice, but currently, but a move to Old Trafford certainly isn't ruled out. So we'll have to see, people, really and truly. Xhaka has said Arsenal can handle the pressure, but we'll save that for, you know, a bit cheekily. We'll save that for the watch along tomorrow, live from 1 p.m. UK time, because we kick off at 2, people. We'll also save that as well. Pardon me, wrapping this up, people, seeing what Goal.com has said in relation to potential Arsenal targets. Arsenal remain interested in buying Leverkusen's Moussa Diaby. He's not the only Bundesliga on the player on the shortlist. Arsenal are interested in signing right back from Galatasaray, the 22-year-old right back Sacha Boey, French lad. Arteta prefers Zubimendi over Brighton's Caicedo. He would cost a lot less. Arsenal tried to sign the Sociedad player in January before Caicedo, but he wanted to keep loyal to the Spanish club until the end of the season. Arsenal have made approach to sign Borussia Dortmund midfielder Mohamed Dahoud, people. The 27-year-old will be a free agent, and he's confirmed he's not signing a new deal. There's a few clubs. Fabrizio Romano has ruled out Victor Osimhen moving to Arsenal. I don't have it confirmed as of now. Arsenal have Jesus and Nketiah, Balogun, and also Osimhen's price tag will really be huge. I think Arsenal have different priorities for this summer, including a midfielder. Reece Nelson is drawing interest from Brighton and Nice, and also Crystal Palace and West Ham, people. Apparently, we and a lot of clubs have held an interest in Asensio and have talks with his agent as his deal is running down. Aston Villa have joined the race for Kieran Tierney. The Gunners still interested in Caicedo despite him signing a new deal. You know, we're interested in Locatelli. Again, Brentford, Palace, and West Ham are all looking at Reece Nelson, who is set to be offered a new deal. Links towards Lavia have been played down, people. You've also seen some reports. Check out my other transfer news videos. Apparently, Chelsea and Arsenal are the front runners for Macalister. In fact, also you've seen City, Manchester United, Liverpool, and everyone are interested. He said he wants his next club to be in the Premier League, and apparently we have registered an interest in the Brighton playmaker who can play out wide, play in the 10 as well as the 8. Very interesting player, contracted until 2025. Didn't he sign improved terms at Brighton before the World Cup? So within the next 12 to 18 months, they're going to have to make a decision. Declan Rice is very open to an Arsenal move. Zaha is interested in Arsenal on a free transfer. We've spoken about Brandt. So with that being said, it doesn't appear like there's anything else. Check out the other videos. Make sure you join me for the watch along tomorrow, please, people. Please do me a favor. It helps get our YouTube channel and our platforms out there. Smash the like button, comment, subscribe. This helps to boost the YouTube algorithm. Most importantly, follow on Twitch as well. But most importantly, stay safe, stay blessed. Appreciate you lot for tuning in and watching this video. One love, people.
Always with that active red map, defending.
I think it's like